strong, and you finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. It's a long road when you face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold, but you can find love if you search within yourself, and that emptiness you felt will disappear. And a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. Oh, the Lord knows dreams are hard to follow, but don't let anyone take them away. Hold on, there will be tomorrow. In time, you'll find a way. And a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. A hero lies in you.
Welcome to the 61st graduation ceremonies of Paducah Community College. Please rise as the Paducah Community College Chorus, under the direction of Jeff Jordan, sings our national anthem. Gentlemen, please remove your mortar boards. Ladies may do so if you wish.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red flare almost bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome all of you to this 1994 celebration of excellence at Paducah Community College. I would first like to introduce some special guests who are with us this evening. State Senator Bob Leeper, and City Commissioner John Hornsby. I will now introduce the platform guests, and I would ask that you hold your applause until all have been introduced. Our commencement speaker is Dr. Lee Todd. Dr. Todd is the president of DataBeam Corporation and chairman of the Kentucky Science and Technology Council. Dr. Robert Meriwether, vice chairman of the University of Kentucky Board of Trustees. The Paducah Junior College and Community College Board of Trustees, Marshall Niemer, chairman. Mrs. Velma Bowley Carlton, vice chairman. A. Howard Arant, treasurer. Ann Gwynn, secretary. G. Leon Williams, executive committee at large. Mayor Geraldine Montgomery. County Judge Executive Danny Orazine. Ann Denton. William Dibert. Judge Jeffrey Hines. Judge William Howerton. Dr. Wally Montgomery. Mr. Steve Polston. Mr. Ken Wheeler. Ms. Sherry Anderson, faculty representative, and Ms. Crystal Milam, student representative. Dr. Barbara Veazey, Dean of Academic Affairs. Sandra Tucker, Dean of Student Affairs. John Carrico, Dean of Business Affairs. We thank all of you for your selfless contributions to this college. Ms. Crystal Milam is the 1993-94 president of the Student Government Association. She will bring greetings on behalf of her classmates.
As children, we all look forward to going to school, to learning, to meeting new friends. Then our future was in the hands of our parents. As we grew older, we entered high school and we started to think about our future and our own independence. We anticipated our first job, our first car, and our own place in life. Toward the end of high school, we were faced with a decision that would determine the rest of our lives. For some of us, that decision was college. And for others, they chose a family or a career, delaying college until later. Eventually, we all came to PCC. Look around you. You will see the decision that you have made. For many of us, college came easy, and for others, it was a real struggle. We made our goal as an associate degree, and we have achieved that today. I would like to congratulate you, the class of 1994. And as we walk out the doors of PCC, a better future is now in our hands. Congratulations.
As community college faculty, we're often credited with being hardworking, dedicated, committed to our students. And I believe all those statements to be true. But I would like to recognize you, the faculty of Paducah Community College tonight, for your professional expertise and knowledge that you bring to the classroom. I would like for you who are graduating this evening to know that the faculty you had publish in professional journals. They make presentations at national conferences. They write books. And they are considered to be leaders in this state in innovative teaching techniques and in bringing technology into the classroom. I believe that you have received an excellent education at Paducah Community College. And I would like for you, those of you who are graduating tonight, along with your parents, family, and friends, to join me in saying thank you to those who helped you achieve it. The faculty of Paducah Community College.
Dr. Lee Trover Todd Jr. is the founder of two Lexington, Kentucky-based high technology firms, DataBeam Corporation and Projectron Incorporated. He serves as President and Chief Executive Officer of DataBeam Corporation and Vice President of Hughes Display Products. Dr. Todd is a Kentucky native who earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering from the University of Kentucky. While at UK, he received a Hertz Foundation Fellowship to attend the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. At MIT, he earned his MS and PhD in Electrical Engineering and was awarded 6 U.S. patents. Dr. Todd returned to the University of Kentucky in 1974, where he joined the Electrical Engineering Department and taught there for 9 years. While at UK, Dr. Todd received several teaching awards, including the University of Kentucky Alumni Association Great Teachers Award. Dr. Todd received the 1989-1990 Award of Achievement in Industry from the Kentucky Society of Professional Engineers, the 1989 University of Kentucky College of Engineering Outstanding Alumni Award, and the 1991 Industrial Scientist Award from the Kentucky Academy of Science. Dr. Todd is very active in encouraging the formation of other high technology companies and in the improvement of the science and technology curriculum in Kentucky schools. Currently, he is president of the Kentucky Science and Technology Council and serves on the board of the University of Kentucky Research Foundation and the advisory board of UK's Robotics Center. Additionally, Dr. Todd serves on the Governor's Commission on Quality and Efficiency, the Georgetown College Board of Trustees, and the board of Liberty National Bank. and serves on the Small Business Advisory Board for the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. Finally, he is a great friend to Paducah and particularly to this college. Since last fall, he has actively supported our efforts to locate the 2+2 engineering program here and has commented on our behalf before members of both the houses of the Kentucky General Assembly and to Governor Jones. His reputation as Kentucky's premier scientist, technical entrepreneur, and educational leader has provided immeasurable credibility to our cause. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Dr. Lee Trover Todd.
Thank you. Chairman Niemer, President O'Hara, members of the Platform Party, faculty, honored graduates of the day, family and friends. It's always an honor to be asked to give a commencement address, but it's a special honor tonight to be asked to come into this community because my wife and I have such tremendous respect for your leaders and for the vision which they are showing, which I don't hesitate to say I don't think is being shown throughout the rest of this state. But as I was trying to prepare for this, I must tell you that there's always pressure associated with giving a commencement speech. It's always been my impression that a commencement speaker should set the lifetime goals of the graduates and tell them how to go out and reshape the world. So as I was preparing, I sat down and I tried to think of some of the profound things that I had heard in my prior commencement speeches. I couldn't remember a single thing. So I asked my wife about her recollections. She couldn't remember anything either. I went out to my secretary and asked her, and she could not even remember the name of her speaker. So at that time I realized the pressure was really off because you're not going to remember anything I say tonight anyway. My name is Lee Todd, LeeTodd. So write that one down so get one point across. What I do want to talk to you about this evening are some of the experiences that I had since I began college. I look back on my career in preparation for this talk, and I've had gone through several transitions. Each of those transitions has been a personal growth experience. So I've crystallized those into 7 little stories that I would like to tell you briefly tonight. First point, set your own sights. Before I left Arlington High School in Arlington, Kentucky, which is near Madisonville, and there were 38 of us in our graduating class. Before I left there to go to college, and I went to Murray for my first 2 years, someone told me that if you go to college and you just get through and graduate, that will be quite an accomplishment coming from this small school. So I went to Murray just hoping to get by. But I still remember to this day sitting in a classroom in algebra and trig, looking around and saying to myself, somebody in this class is going to make an A, and it might as well be me. That day I reset my own sights and I went through a growth transition. There are 2 types of advice that you're going to get as you move forward, good advice and bad advice. And it's up to you to decide which advice you choose to use and what you choose to ignore. But always consider the source. I was a teacher at UK for 9 years, and I advised 38 students each semester, so I've been there with some of you faculty. Some very capable students would come into me at registration time, and they would say, I'm not going to take Calculus 3 this semester. My roommate says I would have too tough a schedule. I would ask, well, what's your roommate's grade point average? Well, he's on probation this semester, but that's because he had 2 really bad professors last semester. Don't take advice from people on probation. Set your own sights. The second point I would make is to choose challenge over comfort. After I was at Murray for 2 years, I was quite comfortable. I had done much better than I had expected. I knew the professors and the professors knew me. I had made a lot of friends and I really liked the campus. Everything was very comfortable. But I wanted to be an engineer, and to do so I had to transfer to UK. And that was kind of scary to me, going from a small school to a regional university to UK. So I was intimidated. The lowest score I ever made in my entire life was the first score I took at UK, and my wife still remembers what I looked like when I walked out of that room because I'd put so much pressure on myself. But I eventually righted my rudder, and I did much better there than I had expected. By my senior year, again, I was quite comfortable. I knew the professors, and the professors knew me. I had made a lot of friends, and I really liked the campus. But then I got an opportunity to leave that comfort and go to Boston, to go to MIT. For whatever reason, at that time I chose challenge over comfort. Patsy and I loaded up our worldly possessions in U-Haul's smallest trailer, and we headed to Boston to grow up because she and I started first grade together, and we hadn't quite taken Boston on yet. If I had been intimidated by going from Murray to UK, I was literally scared to death when I went from UK to MIT. I had the feeling that everyone else was a genius and I was the only one that really had to study. But again, I gained tremendously from that transition and from that experience because I had to reprove myself to a new set of professors who didn't know me from Adam. And I had to reprove myself to myself to clear the self-doubt. So when something inside of you is trying to get your attention, when something inside of you is telling you it's time for change, listen to that still small voice and choose challenge over comfort. The third point, seek opportunities to sit in the presence of greatness. Late one Friday afternoon during my senior year at UK, a professor came to me and asked if I'd like to meet Dr. Edward Teller on Saturday. Dr. Teller was going to meet with several UK students. Well, I immediately said yes because Dr. Teller is an extremely well-known physicist in an area that I was interested in. He's known as the father of the hydrogen bomb and has worked with Fermi and Einstein and those folks, so I certainly wanted to meet him. After meeting with a group of us, he asked me to come back that afternoon and talk with him. That talk turned out to be a 2-hour oral exam where I stood at the blackboard and answered questions. I really didn't know what was at risk. I thought he was trying to compare the hillbillies of Kentucky to those Berkeley kids that he taught every day in California. So I just tried to answer his questions. At the end, he asked me, "What do you want to study?" I said, "Well, I'd like to study solid-state electronics." He said, "Well, then you'll go to MIT. Have you applied?" I, of course, said no. The MIT, to me, was some mecca, some place that I had never envisioned being able to go to. He said, "You apply, and I'll get you a Hertz Foundation fellowship if I can. If I can't, I'll get you something." 2 weeks later, I got a little yellow telegram, and they send those anymore, but I got one on my screen door, and I still have it, where I had won a Hertz Fellowship, which paid for all of my education at MIT. But looking back at that experience, I gained a lot more than a paid education because I had truly sat in the presence of greatness that day. I had had a give and take with someone that was very well established in his field and a field that I was beginning to pursue. And I had survived that experience. That experience gave me enough self-confidence to face other oral exams that I had at MIT or to have intellectual tugs of war with people that I still run into in my field. It built a confidence I could not easily have built otherwise. This case is an extreme of the point that I want to make to you, however. To sit in the presence of greatness, you don't have to be talking to a Nobel Prize winner or a business tycoon. You can sit in the presence of greatness by meeting with someone that you admire and respect, but probably don't know personally. If you want to be a doctor, go talk to the best doctor you can find, and there's certainly some here in Paducah. If you aspire to someday have your own company, go talk to someone who has started their own company. If you want to be a professor, go talk to the very best professor you can find. Ask them what it takes to get where they are. Let them tell you. Let them question you about your interest. I'll assure you, you'll come out thinking on a different plane, having sat in the presence of greatness. My fourth point is don't think that you're not very smart because you talk slowly. During the years that I was at MIT, I came to realize that there were not very many Southerners that attended the Institute. I also came to realize that a lot more could be there if they would only choose to do so. But we Southerners sometimes have a low self-image. We don't think that we can knock heads with the Northeasterners. While at MIT, I once had a salesman tell me, I never thought Southerners were very smart because they talk so slowly. I said, John, I certainly hope you're not trying to sell me anything today. But many people do share his opinion. I take that as a personal challenge. As Chairman Niemer said a few moments ago, I hold 6 U.S. patents, which I got as a student while I was at MIT. And every now and then I would see this salesman, John, walking down the corridors, and in my very, very best Southern accent, I would say, John, I just got another patent. But he got the message. So don't let others' opinions lower your self-image. We have a heritage in this state of which we can be very, very proud. We have a work ethic that can put most people to shame. So continue to talk slowly, smile graciously, and let the results tell the story. But never, never think you're not very smart because you talk slowly. Fifth, have a dream. I think that it is extremely important that we have dreams. Dreams are your personal goals that you want to achieve. When you go to bed at night after a long, grueling day, your dream is a mental escape to what it will be like once you achieve that goal. A dream is a bridge between what is and what can be. I started a dream my last year at MIT. I got bitten by the high-tech Boston startup company bug. I wanted to someday start my own company. When I finished graduate school, I came back to UK, where I taught for 9 years on engineering, and I taught many excellent PCC graduates, I might add. I taught and did research there. I licensed my patents to a company in Boston called Advent Corporation. They had a special picture tube that I needed for my patents. So I expected to be a professor, collect royalty checks in my mailbox, go to UK basketball games while they sold my products and used my ideas. However, I learned one vital lesson. No one has the fervor for your idea that you do. They kept putting my project on the back burner. So after I developed a prototype at UK of this concept of teleconferencing I was trying to pursue, I decided to take more control and raise my own money to start my own company, to fulfill that dream. I needed at least $1 million. I talked to 8 venture capitalists, none of whom were in Kentucky, 22 wealthy people within Kentucky, 3 major corporations, all to no avail. I flew to Tandem Computers in San Jose, California, and they were very interested in the idea. They said they would have to own the company, but they would leave it in Kentucky because that was one of my strange requirements that I had placed on the deal. I flew back to Kentucky that day, stopped at O'Hare International Airport, bought a Wall Street Journal, and that very day Advent Corporation went bankrupt. They were my only source of picture tubes. This was in '81. Interest rates were 22%. Projection TVs were $3,000 then and were selling right behind yachts. Nobody was buying them. So they went under. So for the next 6 months, this dream of mine was in trouble. I was in a quandary. One day at my UK office, the phone rang. It was the vice president of Advent. He wanted to know if I would help them sell their product line to GE and RCA. I told him I'd have to think about it. I walked over to Arby's. If you've ever been in Lexington, there's an Arby's right across from the engineering college. And I had what you would call one of those cognitive lunches where you sit there and you talk to yourself saying, what does all this mean? But it was during that lunch as if the Lord came to me and said, Lee Todd, if you're going to start a company, now is the time to stick your neck out, take a risk, and get on with it. So I called Advent back and said, I'll take your equipment if you don't require a lot of cash. I was a professor and didn't have much of that. I would bring their equipment to Lexington, set up a company, I'd make the tube for them and make it for myself. In the next 2 weeks, I moved 60 tons of used equipment from Cambridge, Massachusetts to Lexington. In less than 3 months, I was making picture tubes, and that company was called Projectron, and it now has 85% of the world business in flight simulation picture tubes worldwide. 2 years later, I got the major funding to start DataBeam, and that company now has products in 12 countries. A few years ago, I sold Projectron to Hughes Aircraft and was able to get them to move their entire picture tube operations to Kentucky. So that dream got me a long way, but it took 7 years to raise the first dollar in this state, to start a company that was based on a concept, that was going to use bright young people to build something that hadn't been built before. Henry Thoreau wrote, if you have built castles in the air, Your work need not be lost. That is where they should be built. Now put foundations under them. So Hughes Aircraft has put a substantial foundation under one of my air castles, or one of my dreams. That dream started in 1974 and got me through a lot of frustrations and kept me going. I still have a dream, something further I want to accomplish. You today have accomplished a dream, I'm sure, that you set out for your goal of graduation today. I would encourage you to pick up your next dream and go for it. My final point is that Kentucky can compete. I spend a lot of time in this state talking about the fact that Kentucky should consider technology as a potential solution to help our economy. But too many people in Kentucky feel we cannot compete with other states or throughout the world. Don't believe it. I'm here to tell you that Kentuckians can compete. I'm very pleased to tell you that, in my opinion, your community is a leader in this state in technology-based economic development thinking. Your leaders in government, business, and education have shown great vision in the planning and implementation of the Information Age Park, the Polytechnic Institute, and the types of businesses that they are encouraging in this area. They understand that we have to compete in the areas of technology and information. And they believe in you, and they believe in others like you, that you can compete, and I certainly applaud their efforts. But 90% of the employees that I have had are native Kentuckians, and that accounts for about 240 people now if you can count Hughes. And I will gladly compete those employees against anyone in the country or the world they want to throw at us. I take great pride in the fact that our products are conceived in Kentucky, designed in Kentucky, developed and now manufactured here. And once a year, we at DataBeam put our shoes on and we go out to California and we show our new ideas. And 4 out of the last 8 years, we've won the top prize in the International Teleconferencing Trade Show. So Kentuckians can compete. DataBeam and Projectron's people are exceptional. The beauty is that our colleges and universities are creating many like them, just like yourselves. The tragedy is that we in this state are giving away that talent to other states because we are not providing the right types of jobs in their communities. The last year I taught at UK, 80% of the engineering students had to leave Kentucky to find a job. 90% of them were native Kentuckians, and they go to Hewlett-Packard, IBM, AT&T, and great places. So Kentucky-educated people can compete, but many of them are not competing here, and we need the kinds of jobs that can keep you here in particular. Because when we lose you, we lose your children, and we lose your children's children. And if any state can ill afford to lose people like yourself, it is Kentucky. The latest census data shows that Kentucky has had a larger decrease in its youth population than all other states in the Union with the exception of 2. We cannot tolerate that. You represent our greatest asset. You represent our wits. And our wits are the greatest weapon that we have to create change in a state that cries out for change. So Kentuckians can compete, but we need more of you competing here on our home soil. But a word of caution in this area. While I love to say that Kentuckians can compete, and certainly have indicated that ability in the past, it is clear that in order to compete in today's economy, we must have a worldwide competitive education. Education reform in Kentucky must work. We must not spend our energy blindly supporting CARA as if it were perfect, but likewise we must not spend our energy focusing on a few faults of CARA and calling for its repeal. We must spend our energy on making it work by better communications, modifications, support for teachers, parents, and business involvement. If education reform in Kentucky fails, being 49th out of 50th will look good to us because we run the risk of being more like 749th out of 1,000. There will be 748 better places in the world to do business than here. This economy demands knowledge and it demands critical thinking. However, when education reform in Kentucky is successful, we will have a stronger state, and our children will virtually have unlimited choices with respect to their careers and opportunities. So Kentuckians can compete today and in the future, provided they have a competitive education. Let me finish by one thing I'd like to read. When I'd go to UK Credit Union to pay on a loan I had to take out to fly out to California to try to raise money, I saw this tattered little piece of paper on the bursar's window. Finally got a copy, and it said, It's called press on. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education alone will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. While I am a firm believer in persistence and determination, because it took me 7 years to find the money I needed to get started, however, I also believe that persistence and determination are not the lone formula for success. If I could rewrite that poem, I would be sure to add something to clearly indicate that in God all things are possible, and a phrase stating the importance of the love and support of your spouse and family. These two factors made it possible for me to maintain my persistence and determination throughout the years. Therefore, persistence, determination, faith, and family will serve you well. So in summary, set your own sights, choose challenge over comfort, seek opportunities to sit in the presence of greatness, never think you're not very smart because you talk slowly, have a dream, and realize that Kentuckians can compete. I want to congratulate you and your families represented here tonight on your accomplishments to date and wish you the very best as you pursue your careers. Your success will be measured not by what you do for yourself, but what you do for others. And I will say tonight that you've already begun to help Kentucky and its image by furthering your education. Continue to keep Kentucky and mankind's needs in your mind as we all try to make this a better place in which to live. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Dr. Todd, for those inspiring words. Your success and your persistence is one of the factors that drives us on here. And your vision for a better Kentucky is the vision that we have for Kentucky. On behalf of the people of far western Kentucky, I want to thank you for filling us with continued hope in achieving our own vision.
Will the candidates for graduation please rise? Mr. President, I present the candidates for graduation, and I certify on behalf of the faculty that they have successfully completed all of the requirements for their respective degrees. The first row of graduates may proceed to the stage. All others may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, as the names of the graduates are read, please note that those graduating with distinction have achieved a grade point average of 3.4 to 3.6. Those graduating with high distinction have earned a 3.6 or higher. Students wearing the gold stoles are members of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. Those receiving an Associate in Arts: Tamala Jean Briggs. Elizabeth Sue Crouch is receiving her degree posthumously. Wilhelmina Cunningham. Vanessa D. Gray. Barton Douglas Harris. Michelle Renee Henley. Laminda Humphrey. Teresa Lee J. Christina D. Jenkins. Carla Luchelle Jones. Randall Hunt Kloss. Brenda K. Noth. Melissa Ann Manhart. Natalie Ann Meadows. James A. Moore II. Janet Lynn Ogg. Brenda Ann Schulte. Marie A. Val. Vera Leanne Walker. Lachey Wyatt. Dorothy Jean Patterson Young. Receiving the Associate in Science, Casey Andrew Henderson. Terry L. Humphrey. And please note that Terry is graduating with a 4.0 grade point average. Jamie Douglas McDaniel. And Jamie is also graduating with a 4.0. Rhonda Peace. Brent Todd Pittman. Tara D. Rutledge. Dennis B. Thompson. Stephanie K. Wallace. Graduating with an Associate in Applied Science in Accounting Technology, Melody A. James. Sandra Jean Kitt. In Communications Technology, Catherine C. Cavett. Angela Candace Franklin. Crystal Lee Milam. Brenda Faye Rudolph. In Computer Information Systems with the microcomputer option, Joe L. Smith. Programming option, Jean Carolyn Myrick. In Business Technology, Management, Amy J. Johnson. Ella Tyler Mays. Nursing, Melanie Ann Abernathy. Theta Sue Alexander. Catherine S. Asbridge. Peggy L. Barnett. Shirley H. Beeler. Teresa A. Miller Bishop. Teresa Lewis Blair. Vivian Cowan Blossom. Patricia A. Bowes. Veronica L. Bowley. Randall K. Brown. N. Jill Berger. Michelle N. Burton. Tammy Renee Campbell. Dina D. Carico. Karen S. Clark. Todd Cook. Tammy Renee Corsi. Deborah Lynn Courtney. Kelly Culver. Carol S. Kurtzinger. Barbara Lee Davis. Christy Carol Davis. Dana Lee Day. Sharon Denise McKinney Dowdy. Jill Worth Fawn, graduating with a 4.0 grade point average. Linda A. Feltz. Wendy G. Sturman Freeman. Teresa A. Fritz. Icy Loyal Gardner. Catherine S. Gasser. Emily K. Gorley. Mara Louise Graves. Tina A. Grimes. Diane L. Hall. Kathy D. Hard. Ann S. Harris. Shanna Jane Henson. Rebecca L. Herndon. Patricia L. Harrell. Martha Ann Adcock Hollander. Nancy J. Hood. Roger Lee Jenkins. Yvonne Lamb. Linda Sue Langness. Kathy A. Lee. Rose M. Leeser. Kathy Elaine Long. Julie Renee Kaler Martin. Patricia Ann Martin. Julie Ann McKendry. Amy LaVon Montgomery Mitchell. Frances Paulette Myers. Sharon K. Myers. Jennifer R. Neal. Lisa J. Williams Etchen. Shavonna Renee Peach. Hugh William Prince. Stacy A. Purnell. Cynthia Jean Quatrano. Elizabeth Ann Ray. Joyce A. Ray. Michael Allen Sassine. Annette Shepard. Gloria Jean Simmons. Sheila G. Smith. Melinda Hopkins Taylor. Nancy L. Thurston. Charlotte M. Thweet. Charlotte is graduating with a 4.0. Julie Vaughn. Dolores Corsi Vi. Van H. Wallace. Susan K. Ward. Susan S. Weinecke. Emily Warren Wilson. Julie A. Wilson. Tammy Leanne Stallons York. Graduating in Office Administration, Angela D. Anderson. Jennifer Ray Chittenden. Pamela Elaine Edging. Teresa Cook Gray. Stephanie Beth Looper. Jeanette Valina McGee. Kelly Renee Morris. Jennifer LaRae Walker Shear. Deborah Lynn Harrison Stone. Physical Therapist Assistant, Beth A. Duncan. Melissa A. Earls. Jennifer Miller Garrison. Kevin Dale Griggs. Melissa K. Hunt. Pamela J. Jacobs is graduating with a 4.0 grade point average. Carrie L. McBride. Kimberly Seats Valerius. Melissa Renee Wallace. Julie M. Wiggins.
Will the candidates please rise? By virtue of the power vested in me by the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the University of Kentucky, I confer upon you the associate degree. You may now move your tassels to the left side. The class of 1994. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, it is my distinct pleasure to recognize some of the people who made this graduation possible. That is, members of the faculty. We have already saluted the faculty, and they are, by all accounts, an exemplary group. I feel honored to be part of them. There are a few whom I recognize each year, and I must tell you it's a very difficult thing to do, not because we don't have anyone to recognize, but because every one of them is outstanding in their own way. Earlier today, Carol Byer was recognized as the 1994 Great Teacher of the Year by the students. I want to thank her publicly and congratulate her publicly in front of this body. Carol. The 1994 Endowment Award for Excellence in Teaching. This endowment is named for Mr. and Mrs. Phelps. The award was made possible through a gift by Linnell and Clyde Boyles. Mr. Boyles is here this evening. Would you please stand and be recognized, Mr. Boyles? This Phelps Award for teaching excellence is given each year to a faculty member who has demonstrated the best qualities of the teaching profession. At Paducah Community College, this is a singularly notable honor because we have so many outstanding teachers. The recipient receives a cash award and is also afforded the opportunity of purchasing library materials or equipment for his or her department. The award is chosen by the president upon consultation with the PCC academic leadership. This year, the academic leadership and I have selected yet another superior teacher and innovator. Please keep in mind that this award is for superior teaching. Just what does that mean? Well, it means that this individual has found some special combination of personal and professional traits that, when brought together in the classroom, make students want to learn. The combination varies with individuals. We've found all kinds of individuals who are great teachers. There is no magic formula, but one thing we do know is that we recognize superiority when we see it. The 1994 recipient is a person of professional and personal strength. The students love her, and so do we. She brings knowledge of subject matter and a deeply caring heart to her students and to us every day. She seems tireless and literally incapable of saying no to any endeavor which will help her students. She is active in her profession, as all good teachers are, and in the community college system. Her interests outside the classroom are boundless. I will mention only two. She is actively involved in research, studying the isolation of non-M protein antigens. And secondly, she, along with her sister and her brother-in-law, both of whom are outstanding PCC faculty members, contributes to the cultural and botanical enrichment and improvements that you see on this fine campus. Please congratulate the 1994 Phelps winner, the coordinator of our biology department, Assistant Professor Kelly Cothran. Each year I have the pleasure of selecting members of the college family to receive the President's Medallion. This award provides me with a way of recognizing publicly those individuals whose dedication and deeds have moved our college toward greatness. Without these special people, our college would be a far lesser place. This year there are two medallions. The first recipient first caught my attention during my interviews here 3.5 years ago for this position, and maintained that attention as I arrived on campus. It was and is his ability to speak out and to go against the conventional wisdom when he feels the cause is right that makes Andrew Halford special. But it is also his willingness to tackle hard problems and risk failure that have caused him to solve some of our toughest institutional problems. Andrew, if you would come forward while I read the rest of this. Professor Halford serves as the chairperson of the college's Professional Development Committee. That's the group that decides how PCC will spend its limited funds for faculty and staff enrichment. Those decisions are among the most critical ones that we make because they represent an investment in what I believe is our most important commodity, and that is our faculty. Andrew is also the coordinator of the part-time faculty. In that role, he has revolutionized the way the PCC serves its other teachers. The model program which he developed has been presented and enthusiastically received at national and international levels alike. Part-time faculty are now an integral part of this college thanks to Andrew Halford and his boss, Dr. Veazey. For the past 3 years, Andrew has been the community college representative to the University of Kentucky General Studies Council. He just completed a year's work with the National Leadership Institute, and as a result, PCC will host a multi-state conference on leadership and a statewide conference on the same topic. But mostly, Andrew Halford is a team player whose positive attitude and exuberance shine. Congratulations, Andrew. If we have learned anything during the past decade, as individuals and as a nation, it is the value of teamwork. If any of you were to spend a week or two on this campus, you will be impressed by the inordinate number of formal and informal teams who accomplish what most people would think would be impossible, because it would sound much too self-serving for me to recite the litany of all those teams and all those groups. I have chosen one to represent them all. A group which has turned out more technical graduates who in turn have brought more good to our community than probably any other in the course of our history. I'm referring to the PCC nursing faculty. Would the following individuals come forward as I read the remainder of this award? Tina Payne, Tana Myrick, Pat Wallace, Carol Beyer, Susan Taylor, Denise Seltzer, Denise Lindsay, Sherry Barnhill, Donna Downs, Connie Heflin, Marilyn Noth, and Debbie Walker. These women are remarkable. I've told them so privately, and I wanted you to know it too. Not only do they teach well, and of course they love their profession and they love their students, but they excel in both the product they produce and the processes they use to get there. Our nursing graduates are well qualified. Over 97% of them pass the registry on the first try. You've seen the quality of those students as they pass before you this evening. We do have a fine product, and everyone who employs our students is pleased with that product. But the nursing faculty excels in process as well. They were the first to introduce video disc instruction on a regular basis in our classrooms. They took a chance. They were comfortable. They were doing a great job. They decided to reach out and try something new. It was they who, during this past year, developed an entirely new curriculum for paramedics of the region simply because the community needed it. The student body, as you heard earlier, chose a nursing faculty member, Carol Beyer, as their Teacher of the Year. It was the nursing faculty under the leadership of Tina Payne who successfully blended the faculties of Paducah Community College and West Kentucky Tech in Kentucky's very first joint use facility. And last month we learned that this faculty had been awarded its first Helene Full grant, the funds from which will be used to push the PCC nursing program farther into the age of technology-based instruction. Of course, the application was a joint effort. Please join me in congratulating them once again. Before I address the graduates for the last time, I do want to mention to you that two of our faculty members will be leaving after this semester. We will miss them. But both of them have agreed to come back as part-time instructors. Peggy Harris and Joe Tilly Dorsch. Thank you. And I would ask that we observe just a brief moment of silence in recognition of a man who made a major difference in our lives, who passed away recently, Mr. A.O. Miller. Mr. Miller was a visionary and a tenacious person if there ever were one. And as Dr. Todd made his remarks and recited the poem, I thought of Mr. Miller. You talk about persistence, you talk about tenacity, you talk about determination. A.O. Miller had those characteristics, and I was with him about 4 hours before his untimely death. The last words he said to me as I walked away, we were talking about the engineering program, and the last two words he hollered to me in the hall was, "Press on." A moment of silence for Mr. Miller. Thank you. Now to the graduates. You've heard all the fine words, and I cannot top any of them. So I decided to give you a small gift as you left, and if you look inside your diploma, you will find that gift, and I will read that gift to you. Somehow it became a tradition that I close with a poem. It was an accident the first time, and perhaps not quite an accident the second. But I find the words of great persons comforting and visionary. This poem was written by a gentleman from Terre Haute, Indiana, in 1927. His name is Max Ehrman. And the poem, which is really just a list of points to live by, is called The Desiderata. I've had it hanging in my office for 25 years, and perhaps you may decide to do something similar. My words of advice to you would be these. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant, for they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, and you have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. Good luck and congratulations. Please rise. And join the Paducah Community College Chorus in singing My Old Kentucky Home. The words are in the program. Please allow the recessional to pass. And after we pass, would you join us for a reception in the Student Center?